तव कथामृतम् तप्तजीवनम् कविभिरीडितम् कल्मषापहम् श्रवणमङ्गलम् श्रीमदाततम् भुवि गृह्णन्ति ये भूरिदा जनाः भुवि गृह्णन्ति ये भूरिदा जनाः।
ॐ तव कथामृतं तप्तजीवनं कविभिरीडितं कल्मषापहं श्रवणमङ्गलं श्रीमदाततं भुवि गृह्णन्ति ये भूरिदा जना. We are studying the Gospel of Sri Ramakrishna, and today we have to enter 6th chapter, the Master with the Brahmo Devotees 1, dated October 28, 1882. We may remember that the last chapter was October 27, where Keshav had taken Master on a steamer for a pretty long time. And we had beautiful conversations there, especially when Brahmo devotee had asked, have we to renounce everything? Now, without renouncing everything, shall we not realize God? And how Thakur did not say no. Thakur said yes. And slowly he brought that man to the concept of all renunciation in a seamless manner. That is what we had seen. And then the last scene, because of quarrel, there was Keshav and Vijay were sitting together. Vijay had come with Thakur. And they were seated together on two near chairs. So looking at them with each other's face, Thakur made humorous stories and told them to reconcile. Let the quarrel remain amongst your followers, but you should behave properly. And it is nothing strange. If you have one Samaj, let him have another Samaj. So that was the thing. And now it is a biannual festival of the Brahmos. They celebrate in spring and autumn. So this is autumn going on. Perhaps that steamer was on Lakshmi Puja day. So it is autumn going on. It was Saturday. The semi-annual Brahmo festival, celebrated each autumn and spring, was being held in Beni Madhav Pal's beautiful garden house at Siti, about 3 miles north of Calcutta. Nowadays, Siti is counted as a part of Calcutta. And from the Ganges side, if you see, it is most probably almost parallel to Belur Math. Yes. Because people who come from Siti, they come by the Kutighat. So it is almost parallel. The house stood in a secluded place suited for contemplation. Actually, we may say suited for contemplation on God. The original Bengali says, Bhagwaner upasnar pakke vishesh upayogi. Trees, he is describing trees laden with flowers, artificial lakes with grassy banks. Artificial lakes, that means dugout lakes. and green arbors enhance the beauty of the grounds. Arbors, you understand? These trees, creepers are grown and arranged in such a way that, like a canopy, it becomes like a canopy. That is called arbor. Just as the fleecy clouds were turning gold in the light of the setting sun, the master arrived. These are, in Bengali, there is a very large description, but Nikalanji has culled out this. Many devotees had attended the morning devotion. Whole day program is there. And in the afternoon, people from Calcutta and the neighboring villages joined them. This Vedimada Pal used to invite people from Calcutta and neighboring villages also. So they had come. Shivnath, the great Brahmo devotee whom the master loved dearly, was one of the large gathering of members of the Brahma Samaj who had been eagerly awaiting Sri Ramakrishna's arrival. We know later on this how the Shivnath behaved with Thakur, but Thakur always loved him. Here he says Shivnath, the great devotee. When the carriage bringing the master and a few devotees reached the garden house, the assembly stood up respectfully to receive him. Vedimada Pal used to give his carriage for Thakur. There was a sudden silence, like that which comes when the curtain in a theatre is about to be rung up. People who had been rung up, you understand? Rung up. Oh, rung up is not bell. Rung up means going up. People who had been conversing with one another now fixed their attention on the master's serene face, eager not to lose one word that might fall from his lips. At the sight of Shivnath, the master cried out joyously, "Ah, here is Shivnath. You see, you are a devotee of God. The very sight of you gladdens my heart. One hemp smoker feels very happy to meet another. Very often they embrace each other in an exuberance of joy." The devotees burst out laughing because of the comparison with the hemp smoker. Master, many people visit the temple garden at Dakshineshwar. If I see some among the visitors indifferent to God, I say to them, you had better sit over there. Or sometimes I say, go and see the beautiful buildings. Laughter. Now, why Thakur has suddenly brought this topic? What is the relevance?
Many are like that. Many devotees who have come are probably like that.
The author is describing that everybody is eager to listen to Thakur and they have been waiting for Thakur. But Thakur has seen among them some people, what we call spectators. In the previous chapter, it was mentioned Calcutta people, Bodo Hujjuge. Calcutta people like sensation. So, some of them, something strange. So, we must remember this, because what Thakur talks on what occasion is important. Now, here the author is describing that everybody has come to see Thakur and everybody is very eager. Even one word should not be lost. This is author's observation. And Thakur is looking at them. And Thakur sees that some among them at least have no interest in religion. And they have come to see funny moments. And therefore he brings this topic, comparing to people who come at Dakshineshwar. So what Thakur will do is to ask them to sit little distance or go and see the buildings. Now this has caused laughter among people. That means they have understood. Thakur on one side talks of hemp smokers and one side this type of people. And Thakur telling them sit apart and all that, that has given some laughter. Sometimes I find that the devotees of God are accompanied by worthless people. So this is the situation there. Most of them are devotees of God, but they are accompanied by worthless people. Their companions are immersed in gross worldliness. Now he increases that scope. And don't enjoy spiritual talk at all. Since the devotees keep on for a long time talking with me about God, the others become restless. So Thakur is anticipating all these things there. Finding it impossible to sit there any longer, they whisper to their devotee friends, when shall we be going? How long will you stay here? The devotees say, wait a bit, we shall go after a little while. Then the worldly people say in a disgusted tone, well then, you can talk. We shall wait for you in the boat. Allah, because they have come together. They have to go together. But they will wait in the boat, away from Thakur's stuff. So Thakur very realistically is describing the people gathered and alerting people who, both sides. He has understood you have come not for God, and those who have come for God is alerting that amongst you, with you, there are such people. Worldly people will never listen to you. So he's directly in that topic. If you ask them to renounce everything and devote themselves wholeheartedly to God, will never listen to you if you ask them this. Now, this includes all Brahmins. If they are asked to renounce all. One Brahman asked on the previous day. Therefore, Chaitanya and Nitai, his helper in his preaching of Vaishnavism, after some deliberation, made an arrangement to attract the worldly. So let us see what Thakur is doing that. They said, they would say to such persons, come, repeat the name of Hari, and you shall have a delicious soup of magur fish and the embrace of a young woman. In this way is attracting. Magur fish is very tasty and tender. Magur machar jhol. Many people attracted by the fish and the woman would chant the name of God. After tasting a little of the nectar of God's hallowed name, they would soon realize that the fish soup really meant the tears they shed for love of God, while the young woman signified the earth. The embrace of the woman meant rolling on the ground in the rapture of divine love. So nothing to do with the original, but similar something to attract people. And Thakur is hinting here that slowly you will become attracted to God. Nitai would employ any means to make people repeat Hari's name. So from a negative Varnan, Thakur has brought it round. Chaitanya said, the name of God has very great sanctity. It may not produce an immediate result, but one day it must bear fruit. It is like a seed that has been left on the cornice of a building. After many days, the house crumbles and the seed falls on the earth, germinates, and at last bears fruit. So this name of God will not be fruitless. As worldly people are endowed with sattva, rajas, and tamas, so also is bhakti characterized by the three gunas. Now slowly he has shifted full talk to bhakti and is telling that in prakriti, in nature, we have three gunas. Sattva means equipoise, balance of mind, light, knowledge. Rajogun means dynamism, restlessness, desires. Tamogun means inertia, not ready to change, sleep, laziness, that is tamogun. And all these are in nature. So all these are in man's bodies and also in the mind of man. But bhakti also, in the beginning, is in the world. So in bhakti also, these gunas are there. But they take completely different form. So Thakur will tell that you may have any gunas, but you can have bhakti. For that, Thakur has introduced this subject. So gradually from that not interested, how Chaitanya and they used to make interested, how Thakur is making them interested. So also is bhakti characterized by the three gunas. Do you know what a worldly person endowed with sattva is like? So he is describing sattva in people and then in bhakti. Perhaps his house is in a dilapidated condition here and there. He doesn't care to repair it. The worship hall may be strewn with pigeon droppings and the courtyard covered with moss, but he pays no attention to these things. So this sattva guna is approaching the transcendent attitude. The furniture of the house may be old. He doesn't think of polishing it and making it look new, look neat. He doesn't care for dress at all. Anything is good enough for him. But the man himself is very gentle, quiet, kind, and humble. He doesn't injure anyone. So he describes the Sattva-guna person's surroundings and person himself. Again, among the worldly, there are people with the traits of rajas. Such a man has a watch and a chain. Showiness is one of the properties of rajas. And 2 or 3 rings on his fingers. The furniture of his house is all spick and span. On the walls hang portraits of the Queen, the Prince of Wales, and other prominent people. What is this Prince of Wales, you understand?
Prince of England. Wales is one of the province of.
This title in England, the right to rule, be the monarch, is equally shared by men and women. So the eldest issue of the previous king will become queen if she is a girl. If he is a male child, he will become the king. If she is a female child, she will become the queen. And the queen's husband will not be the king. And he will have this title of Prince of Wales. Wales may be within England and all that. But this is the title, Prince of Wales, used for the husband of the queen. That is the British monarchy. In India, these things will not happen. So, on the walls hang portraits of the Queen, the Prince of Wales, and other prominent people. The building is whitewashed and spotlessly clean. The wardrobe is filled with a large assortment of clothes. Even the servants have their livery and all that. You have seen servants having livery?
No.
Go to Narendrapur Ashrama and see. So in rich man's house, the servants are given. In Belur Math, they are given uniforms, khaki. But this livery, special decorated dress, is I have found only in Narendrapur. And in household, which is very rich, they do like that. Rajuguni house and all that. The traits of a worldly man endowed with tamas are sleep, lust, anger, egotism, and the like. So we can recognize people through these symptoms. Similarly, now he brings the whole thing to bhakti. Similarly, bhakti, devotion, has its sattva. A devotee who possesses it meditates on God in absolute secret, not showy. Perhaps inside his mosquito net. So people will not know he is meditating. Others think he is asleep. Since he is late in getting up, they think perhaps he has not slept well during the night. So he is late in getting up from the bed. He has been meditating in the bed. So the appearance is different. His love for the body goes only as far as appeasing his hunger. That's all. What he eats, how he eats, is not his concern. And dress and all that. So connection with the body is only that hunger is appeased. Because that will help him to think of God. Even for sannyasis, Shankaracharya has said, there is a stotra called Upadesha Panchakam. 5 stanzas leading to the highest realization. So in that he says that the householder becomes a sannyasi. Shud vyadhischa chikitsatam.
Shud.
Shud vyadhi.
That's
Cha chikitsatam.
Vyadhischa.
Chikitsatam. Chikitsa. Chikitsatam. Pratidinam. Bhikshaushadam bhujyatam. So he compares hunger to a chronic disease. It will not go away, but you can treat it, chikitsatam, by taking the medicine of Bhiksha Aushad. Please remember, this is not about Bhiksha received in Chhatra. Bhiksha means Madhukari Bhiksha. And Pratidinam, that means
without a break.
I concluded by that every day means every day once. Understood? And for about 1 year in Rishikesh, 78, 79, I did not eat food second time. Even if I have eaten at 10:30 in the morning. When you feel hungry, drink Ganges water, any amount. Understood? And I believed that many sadhus do like that. I do not know fact, but I believed always that sadhus living in ashrama, they used to cook twice. But Birkat sadhus, roaming sadhus, they behave like that only. Now in Thakur's disciples, this Paramahansa Parivrajaka, we do not find eating twice. Anyway, so Pratidinam I took to mean this. His love for the body, is it love?
Adar.
Take a Adar. Adar in Bengali is love. But I should translate this as care for the body. Adar also means care. His care for the body goes only as far as appeasing his hunger, and that only by means of rice and simple greens. Greens means what in Bengali you call shak. That is, green leafy vegetables is called greens. Because easily available.
In other parts of India also shak is available. Other parts of India also shak is a common part of the meal. Not.
Yes, shak is everywhere. Only difference is when you are asked. In Maharashtra, for example, or Hindi belt also, South also, everywhere. Except Bengal, I found that there are many portions of the shak which cannot be swallowed. Data.
Oh. And
all parts of India remove the data totally before cooking it. All parts of India. In Bengal only I saw data or the non-soluble part is cooked and then chewed and taken out of the mouth. This idea is not liked by Indians. In Maharashtra, for example, Sojne Khada, the drumstick, not data, Sojne Khada, that is
very tender.
The drumstick itself. Perhaps that is called data in drumstick, whatever it may be. So the drumstick pieces are cut to such a size that whole thing will not go in mouth. So we hold it, we are discussing because you asked. We are holding one side and half of it we are sucking out and then we turn, hold that side and suck out this and throw it. Whole thing putting mouth and then taking out is not thought to be clean in other parts of India. Shak is everywhere. In Tamil Nadu, there is a sambar and kirei is a Tamil name for shak. Kirei. And that is called kirei sambar. Once in a while, it is made in Belur Math. Anyway, so here he is not meaning bhiksha, because bhiksha you don't get shak, always. So his care for the body goes only as far as appeasing his hunger, and that only by means of rice and simple greens. Thakur's disciples did like that in Baranagar Math. the Greece growing wildly. They used to gather and cook. There is no elaborate arrangement about his meals, no luxury in clothes, and no display of furniture. Besides, such a devotee never flatters anybody for money. So, Sattvagun of Bhakti is glorified. The aspirant possessed of Rajasic Bhakti puts a tilak on his forehead to show what sampradaya he belongs to, and a necklace of holy Rudraksha beads if he is a Shaiva. Otherwise, Tulsi beads, Chandan beads, interspersed with gold ones. You have seen this? I have seen this among so-called, I will add, sadhus in Chidambaram. People told me, don't call them sadhus, call them mathadipatis. But people in Gerua dress with Rudraksha and that very big size golden ball next, like that. Anyway, so that is Rajasic Bhakti. Around his neck, all laugh because Thakur description. At worship, he wears a silk cloth. This is common. I don't know Rajasic and all that. But take up Maharashtra for example. Special pujas, Satyanarayan puja and all that, silk cloths are kept reserved and that is put on for that puja. Because that is supposed to be holy, not as a show. But here it is show. A man endowed with tamasic bhakti has burning faith. So, tamasic bhakti, but Thakur has glorified it. He has burning faith. Such a devotee literally exhorts boons from God. Exhorts, give me. Even as a robber falls upon a man and plunders his money, bind, beat, kill, that is his way, the way of the dacoits. Similarly, Thakur has suddenly glorified the Tamoguna Bhakti because of the force in that. He does not care, like Sattvagun, of any external sign, but he forces God to give him boons. Saying this, the master began to sing in a voice sweet with rapturous love. His eyes turned upward. So eyes turned upward means lost in bhav. Eyes turned upward does not mean God is above. Not that he is looking at God. Eyes turned upwards means not looking at the world at all. In Samadhi, such thing happens. So, song has come. We read in Bengali. ठाकुर ऊर्ध दृष्टि तार प्रेम रसाभिषिक्त कंठे गाइतेছেন गया गंगा प्रभा सादी काशी कांची केवा जाए केवा चाय काली 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 बोले अमर अजपा यदि पुराए त्रिसंध्या जे बोले काली पूजा संध्या से की चाय संध्या तार संध्या ने फिरे कबू संधि नहीं पाए दया व्रत दान आदि आर किछु ना मने लय मदनेर याग यज्ञ ब्रह्ममयीर रंगा पाए मदन इज द पोएट काली नामेर एतो गुण केवा जानते पारे ताए देवादिदेव महादेव जार पंचमुखे गुण गाय Why should I go to Ganga or Gaya or to Kashi, Kanchi or Prabhas? Ganga is known. Gaya is in Bihar. It is famous for Vishnu's abode. Especially for Shraddha people go to Gaya. It is a holy place. Kashi other name is Varanasi or Banaras. And the name Kashi means, you know what?
Varanasi, the place between.
No, that is the place.
The golden light.
Kashi means shining, yes, light.
Shining.
Kanchi, the full name is Kanchipuram. It is in Tamil Nadu. And Shankaracharya lived there, he made his mutt there. And the Shiva is Ekamreshwar.
Ekamreshwar.
Amra means mango tree.
Oh, Amra.
Ekamreshwar. And Shakti, it is a Shakti Peeth. Shakti, Kanchi, Kamakya. Kamakya is in Guwahati. But some such name is there in Kanchi. Kamakshi. Kamakshi.
What is the meaning?
Huh?
What is the meaning of the word Kanchi?
Lustful eyes.
Kanchi means
Akshi.
No, Kanchi. Kanchi means same as Kamakshi.
Kanchi means gold.
Kanchi means gold.
And there are two parts of Kanchi. This is Shiva Kanchi. And then there is Vishnu Kanchi.
Oh.
There God's name is Varadaraj.
Oh.
The king of boon givers. Or Prabhas. Prabhas is in Gujarat.
Oh.
Between Dwaraka and Somnath. And Kaurav, this Yadavas, all died there.
Oh.
And Krishna gave up his body, attained Mahasamadhi at Prabhas. So Prabhas is a holy place. So long as, so why should I go to Ganga or Gaya to Kashi, Kanchi or Prabhas? So long as I can breathe my last with Kali's name upon my lips. One word is lost here.
Ajapa.
Ajapa. So what is Ajapa? It's an important line. One thing is that in the end only that name will come which you have practiced whole life. And Ajapa means the habit becomes so much that you do not deliberately take the name. The name comes automatically. That is Ajapa. Ajapa means by force of habit or because the name has gone very deep, you do not have to deliberately, I shall take and take. No, the name flow continues. That is Ajapa. So long as so it is not easy, not going to pilgrimage. So long as I can breathe my last with Kali's name upon my lips only. It is not uttered outside, inside only. What need of rituals has a man? What need of devotions anymore? Devotions mean acts of devotion. Plural, na? If he repeats the mother's name at the 3 holy hours. So at the end it will come, which is practicing 3 holy hours. That is Sandhya morning, evening, juncture of day and night, night and day, and mid-noon. There is a null point in the Prakriti. Sun rising and sun setting, the midpoint. That is 3 Sandhya. At the 3 holy hours, it is given dawn, noon, and dusk. Rituals may pursue him close, but never can they overtake him. That means he is transcendent over rituals. So as if rituals are following him, but they are not getting, he is beyond rituals. Charity, vows, and giving of gifts do not appeal to the mother's mind. These acts which are there to generate bhakti in him. So bhakti has already come. So these do not appeal to him at all. Swamiji has said a funny thing. In the West, suppose somebody feels religious instinct, then he takes his hat and starts a collection. And in India, if somebody gets a religious instinct, he searches for a cave in the Himalayas. So Madan is the author's name, poet's name. The blissful mother's lotus feet are his whole prayer and sacrifice. So beauty of the feet. Who could ever have conceived the power her name possesses? So it is beyond conception. Shiva himself, the god of gods, sings her praise with his 5 mouths. So Shiva is supposed to have 5 faces. Facing north, east, south, west, and above. So all these not interested and interested, and Thakur's mind has taken this course. No? That is how Thakur lifts people. The master was beside himself with love for the Divine Mother. He sang with fiery enthusiasm. This is another song. আমি দুর্গা দুর্গা ওখানে কালী কালী ছিল তো আমি দুর্গা দুর্গা বলে মা যদি মরি আখেরে এ দিনে না তারো কেমনে জানা যাবে গো শঙ্করী. This song has already occurred once. If only I can pass away repeating Durga's name, so at the time of passing away. And it will happen only if your whole life you have cultivated it. How canst thou then, O Blessed One, withhold from me deliverance, wretched though I may be? So this is putting it on Durga. Then he said, one must take the firm attitude. All this has come out from the Tamoguni Bhakti. What? I have chanted the mother's name. How can I be a sinner anymore? I am her child, her heir to her powers and glories. This had come in the last chapter also. Thakur tell Christian's book always talks of sin. Your book also talks of sin. Why should I be a sinner? When I have taken mother's name, there is no sin. Of course, there he has said, if one says, I will not do sin again, then he is redeemed. I am her child, heir to her powers and glories. So, she is my mother. I am her child. So, I have got as legacy, whatever is with her, I will get it. And now he explains, if you can give a spiritual turn to your tamas you can realize God with its help. So tamas in man, sleep, lust, anger, egotism and the like. But turn to God or bhakti is this force. Force your God with its help. Force your demands on God. He is by no means a stranger to you. He is indeed your very own. Now I generalized it. First he said mother. Now I generalized. God is your very own. He is not a stranger to you. Now this is very important. People feel God is far away. God is your very own. Again you see, the quality of tamas can be used for the welfare of others. So another turn to this tamogun. There are three classes of physicians: superior, mediocre and inferior. The physician who feels the patient's pulse and just says to him, take the medicine regularly, belongs to the inferior class. Here one word for the non-Indians or who have not seen how the Ayurvedic doctor works. You know that? Here it is mentioned. Feel the patient's pulse and just says to him, take this medicine. You understand this point? Have you gone to Ayurvedic doctor? No. In our childhood, we used to go to Ayurvedic doctor. Allopathic doctor will use all tests, hundreds, to diagnose. The homeopathic doctor will kill you with asking symptoms. Yours, your father's generation. The allopathic doctor, you go to him and simply extend your hand. Ayurvedic. And he will put his fingers on your wrist. And he will go on telling your disease and your symptoms. Oh. And you have only to say yes or no. And he will go into great details. You don't tell him any bimari. You just go on and put your hand. And he will check it and say, oh, you are having cough, isn't it? And it grows in the evening, isn't it? Like that. And then he prescribes a medicine. So that is Thakur is mentioning here. Take the medicine regularly belongs to the inferior class. He doesn't care to inquire whether or not the patient has actually taken the medicine. So physicians, Thakur is mentioning Ayurvedic physicians. The mediocre physician is he who in various ways persuades the patient to take the medicine and says to him sweetly, my good man, how will you be cured unless you use the medicine? Take this medicine. I made it for you myself. But he who, finding the patient stubbornly refusing to take the medicine, forces it down his throat, going so far as to put his knee on the patient's chest, is the best physician. So forcing him, Thakur has described fully. And this is what tamogun of the Vaidya is used for becoming Uttam Vaidya, best medicine. This is the manifestation of the tamas of the physician. It doesn't injure the patient. On the contrary, it does him good. So how tamagun can be handled? Like the physicians, there are three types of religious teachers. He has brought to the original topic. Teachers. The inferior teachers only give the instruction to the disciple but makes no inquiries about their progress. The mediocre teacher, for the good of the student, makes repeated efforts to bring the instructions home to him, begs him to assimilate it, and shows him love in many other ways. But there is a type of teacher who goes to the length of using force when he finds a student persistently unyielding. I call him the best teacher. So, Tamagun for teacher. So, now the listeners are feeling and they are asking questions. This from the beginning, after making fun of those who don't want to listen, Thakur has brought the topic here. So people are influenced now. A Brahma devotee, sir, has God forms or has he none? And that was the great debate in those days and even today. And Brahmas believed in no form. And Thakur believed in both. So the question is asked to him. Master, no one can say with finality that God is only this and nothing else. That is Thakur's point. You may like non-form God, but don't say form is wrong. He told this to Master Mashay on the very second day. He is formless, and again he has forms. For the Bhakta, he assumes forms, but is formless for the Jnani. So Jnanis are devoted to Nirgun Brahma, and Nirgun Brahma is essentially Nirakar, and so it is formless. But Bhakta loves Sagun Brahma, and that Sagun Brahma appeals to him if he has some form. The forms are of three types. The divine forms, the human forms, and the formless form, non-specific form. He tells the Brahma devotee, you also have a form, though they deny. For the Bhakta, he assumes form, but is formless for the Jnani. That is for him who looks on the world as a mere dream. So Jnani, Nirgun Brahma means this world is not real. But we experience the world, so he says it is like a dream. The Bhakta feels that he is one entity and the world another. I am one entity, world is another, and God has created both. Therefore, God reveals himself to him as a person. But the Jnani, the Vedantist, for instance, there may be other Jnanis. So, Thakur take the good Jnani's example. The Vedantist, for instance, always reasons applying the process of not this, not this. Real Jnani. Analysis. And when he analyzes, he finds Brahman is not this, Brahman is not that. In that way, he reaches God. Through this discrimination, he realizes by his inner perception that the ego and the universe are both illusory. Aham, when he analyzes, is illusory. World, when he analyzes, is illusory. Like a dream, because he pursues them. Then the Jnani realizes Brahman in his own consciousness. Brahman is the Nirgun Nirakar entity. He cannot describe what Brahman is, because beyond speech, no description. Do you know what I mean? So Thakur finds that all of them have not caught the idea. They cannot conceive it. So he'll put it in different way. Do you know what I mean? Think of Brahman, existence, knowledge, bliss, absolute, is a shoreless ocean. Think like this, ocean. But ocean also has boundaries, shoreless ocean. Through the cooling influence, as it were, of the Bhakta's love, the water has frozen at places into blocks of ice. So how will you connect this? Bhakti is taken as cooling influence and water as frozen as blocks of ice. In other words, God now and then assumes various forms for his lover and reveals himself to them as a person. So, through an example known to people with knowledge of science, he shows no difference between Sakar and Nirakar. But with the rising of the sun of knowledge, the blocks of ice melt. Then one doesn't feel anymore that God is a person, nor does one see God's forms. What he is cannot be described. Who will describe him? He who wanted to do so disappears. So it is beyond I and world, both. So I am I and I am Jnani. This is not possible. He cannot find his I anymore. Now Thakur shows that analysis. One thing we have to remember here, Thakur is showing Sakar and Nirakar. Because Nirgun Brahma is essentially Nirakar. But the Brahmas found Sagun Brahma and they did not believe in forms. So as I told you, it is unspecified form. One Sikh scholar in Ludhiana, he said, can you tell me how Nirguna has become Sagun? So I told him this water example. He said, it is between Sakar and Nirakar, not between Nirguna and Sagun. Then I had to tell him, this how cannot be known through logic or example. Only the rishis who have experienced Nirgun, and when they come back to this world, they see that same Nirgun is Sagun, so they describe it. Thakur has given an example. If one analyzes oneself, one doesn't find any such thing as I. Take an onion, for instance. First of all, you peel off the red outer skin, then you find thick white skin. Peel these off one after the other, and you won't find anything inside. That is the example. Analyze, transcend, and you will not find I. In that state, a man no longer finds the existence of his ego. And who is there left to seek it? Who can describe how he feels in that state, in his own pure consciousness, about the real nature of Brahman? Another example. Once a salt doll went in to measure the depth of the ocean. No sooner was it in the water than it melted. Now, who was to tell the depth? Now, all this will mean how to know then that he is a jnani. There is a sign of perfect knowledge. Man becomes silent when it is attained. Then the I, which may be likened to the salt doll, melts in the ocean of existence, knowledge, bliss, absolute, and becomes one with it. Not the slightest trace of distinction is left. As long as his self-analysis is not complete, man argues with much ado. But he becomes silent when he completes it. When the empty pitcher has, another example beautiful, when the empty pitcher has been filled with water, when the water inside the pitcher becomes one with the water of the lake outside, no more sound is heard. Sound comes from the pitcher as long as the pitcher is not filled with water. People used to say in olden days that no boat returns after having once entered the black waters of the ocean. Kalapani, that is the concept. Okay? All trouble and botheration come to an end when the I dies. So the question comes, why it is the use of such Nirguna Brahma? This is the use that all troubles and botheration come to an end. When the I dies, you may indulge in thousands of reasonings, but still the I doesn't disappear. For people like you and me, it is good to have the feeling I am the lover of God. Let us stop here. Om Tava Kathāmritam Tapta Jivanam Kavivirīditam Kalmashāpam Shravanamangalam Shrimadaatatam Bhui Grunanti Ye Bhurida Jana. Om Shanti 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 Hare Om Tat Sat Sri Ramakrishna Arpanamastu.